Now, this one I can't believe because Brandon Tatum, he's losing support of even his black conservatives. They're coming out in droves and saying, yo, listen, we don't rock with you on this one, bro. You on the island all alone, you done went too far.
Disagree with Brandon Tatum on the Nolan case. Usually I agree with Brandon Tatum on pretty much everything. I disagree on this case. I believe there is a lot of evidence. This has nothing to do for me, for race, but I have to be honest for my own convictions. And I believe it's a lot of things. And I'm not going to say those boys killed him, but just to make it, because first of all, there's a few things I have a problem with. First of all, the phone, the second autopsy. The first autopsy is not out. The second autopsy doesn't. When I listened to a lot of Nancy Grace's reporting, that's how it's supposed to be being reported by a lot of the media. Is not reporting it like that. You know, I feel like Nancy Grace is being very non-biased and she's trying to get answers. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. So the way Brandon Tatum's looking at it, like, what happened to Nolan? So you telling me this boy got drunk, this very intelligent, smart boy who's a straight A, who's a great student, college student, got drunk on an island by himself, his friends laughing. It just makes no sense. The answer to what the story I'm getting, doesn't make any sense to me. And if this case didn't have race involved with, I think everybody would suspect more to it. But I think there are people that are taking white people that are taking white people's side, and there are black people taking black people's side. I just want the truth for this boy. I want the truth. And it doesn't look good to me. First of all, as a teenager, I talked to my teenager about it. No teenager leaves their phone. None. I've been a high school teacher. No teenager leaves their phone, just leaves their phone. They don't do that. So that doesn't make sense to me, right? And then when you get the second autopsy back, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot more. First of all, why the first autopsy still say inconclusive? Why don't we have any? There has not been an official in all this time. What happened?
So Nancy Grace was pressing the crap out of Brandon Tatum. And Brandon Tatum's, he's making his rounds. He's going on all these shows. He's talking to any and everybody that he can talk to, right? You know, that will listen. But she asked him had they taken the polygraph test, and he tried to lie. Like, he literally, this guy calls himself a Christian and says that he's a good Christian man, but he's not even standing on truth, right? He has no way of knowing if they're telling him the truth of anything. He just believes them, right? And he's showing disrespect to the mom. Now, I'm no fan of Nancy Grace, right? But Nancy Grace, in regards to this case, she's coming after them and she's pressing them, right? And she's saying, well, wait a minute. When did they take a polygraph? So he starts saying, well, they really didn't take a polygraph. They took some kind of test that's like a polygraph, but it's not. She was like, listen, man, right? And, you know, she... Whenever he's talking to people, especially somebody black or people he feel like he's more intelligent as, he's real disrespectful, demonstrative. He's real aggressive. She was checking him and pushing him into the corner every chance she got, and he knows that he can't come out here and go against these W women like that because his base won't like it. His base will come against him. So he's not. Listen, this guy is beholden to his base. He can't say or do anything that they disagree with, or he's over. It's over for him.
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me, that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test.
Why do you say that's
test,
from
but
what
one,
you understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not. So then the answer to
did they take a polygraph would be no.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional
hold on.
polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum. Hold on. In a nutshell, Joe Scott, there is a difference between a polygraph, which measures all sorts of body signals, your sweat, your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, all sorts of things, and an audio verification test.
So she caught him in that lie, but she was catching him in one lie after the other. Because then she started talking about the phones and was saying, how could the friends show you the things that they were doing in their phone? When they got Nolan phones back, his phone was wiped clean. There's nothing in the phones, in his phone. But these kids got all the stuff in their phones. How is that? But she was setting a trap for him, pushing him out into the deeper waters, but he wasn't smart enough to realize what Nancy Grace was doing, because he's just running his mouth, right? He not paying attention to nothing he's saying. I peeped the blitz as soon as she was talking, right? And she was asking him about the Snapchat and was saying, well, wait a minute, right? How did they get the phones? Another thing he was alluding to, that they was drinking liquor, right? Well, who was giving them the liquor? These are, where were they getting the liquor from? Some of these guys are underage and minors, right? So there's a whole lot of pieces and moving parts in this. But she was luring him into a trap because he's so stupid. Remember, no, man, I'm gonna hold this. Remember, they out on the boat. They have their phones. Remember? Somebody wasn't supposed to have their phone, but or somebody left their phone. They have their phones. They're using and operating their phones. And they're able to show Brandon critical and vital information that would so-called exonerate them, right? So Nancy asked the question.
I couldn't imagine that they want to get underage drinking on camera. So what they had articulated to me, that it wasn't abnormal for people not to snap and not to do a lot of pictures and things like that, because they were focused on
But you
being
told me
off of the
they
mainland.
showed you pictures and videos.
Yeah,
so
but
they
it's
did
not
take pictures
uploaded.
and videos.
No. It's not a lot of pictures, and they weren't uploaded. So when you're talking about Snapchat, you're talking about a platform where people are uploading images and pictures to produce to the world. What they showed me were things that they had recorded on their phone, and it wasn't a lot of different things, because most of what they did was drinking and having fun in the water. And so, what they had articulated to me as well is that it's not abnormal for people not to snap. It's not abnormal for you not to have your phone. And Nolan wasn't the only person that left his phone on the boat. They also mentioned to me, and you could see it in the interview that they did, was that they had no reason to touch Nolan's phone. They weren't thinking about Nolan's phone when they thought the boat was sinking. And when they got to the house, it was no incident when it comes to Nolan getting the phone back to the friend and parent.
You're going far afield from my question. Let me redirect you back to their phones. Nolan has nothing on his phone. They have pictures and videos on their phones. You told me that they exist, whether they posted them or not. So they were taking pictures and videos. Don't you see why the mom, Nolan's mom, is concerned there's nothing on her son's phone?
Well, Nancy, it's unclear exactly what the mother is articulating.
So now he's in the trap, and he done ran his mouth, because Nancy's going to double back and say, well, wait a minute. I'm confused here. Wait a minute. You're telling me that they had service? He starts stuttering. No. They had to have service on their phones out there if they was able to show you any type of information that would exonerate them. So if that's the case, why would Nolan leave his phone?
Seemed very genuine, and they also proved to me some of the things that they had told me in the interview that I had with them that I have uploaded on my YouTube channel.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy. Let me clarify this for you. It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water, and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're going to get objections. You said you didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great.
And see, what I'm saying is, let this buffoon keep talking, because the more and more he keep talking, he gonna have all them in jail, because he just running his mouth and messing it up for everybody, right? All you got to do is just sit back and let him talk. He ain't that smart. He's not a well-calculated person. He doesn't think before he says. He just goes off impulse and just says any damn thing. Now, mind you, they were saying that he left his phone because he didn't have no service. He wouldn't have needed it anyway, right? So now they got their phone. They got all the information. They got stuff that can exonerate them on their phones. But when the family get his phone back, his phone is wiped clean, right? So to the point where they got a subpoena, right? The phone companies to go all into the back end to find old videos and old text messages and everything else. He knows this, but man, this dude is not a good person at all, man. Like, he's not a good person, right? My whole thing is, even the guy in the beginning says he's a Christian. He's just saying, man, listen, man, this is even a road too far for me, bro. This is a road too far for me. Something stinks in the water. Hey, Brandon, I don't agree with you on this, man. Like, you willing to do anything, right? These guys are giving you information that they're not even giving to the police. And if they did give it to the police, why are you coming out with the information first before the police come out with the information? What are we doing here, right? But Nancy Grace exposed him. He just exposed everything. He just exposed all the lies. Right? But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.